got my makeup on.
Should I?
Where did my
Hold on.
screen go?
Where's your pen? Put your pen in your hand. Look serious.
Oh, I'm telling you, this thing is driving me nuts.
All right, we're about to go
let me switch
live
this
on the
to-
gram.
All right, we're going live. Check the
And the dogs didn't bark. That's amazing.
Oh, you gotta be kidding.
Dun, dun, dun.
Well, I'll take it off Facebook.
I'm not even going to go live because for some reason I can't on this thing. Maybe I can.
We're live on YouTube and live on Instagram, except I don't see my... here we go. Now I gotta say
All right, they're rolling in on Instagram.
Okay, so Ant did put a new one out 16 minutes ago. Where am I at? I got to switch. Dude, one night I set us up when we were going live on Real America's Voice. I think I told you all that.
Yep.
Oh, this is a complete, like, utter nightmare at the moment. Well, anyway, it is Wednesday, December the 10th, and it is the show with the technical problems that we're having here. Difficulties here. So, anyway, thanks for hanging out with us here for a couple more minutes as we get this sorted out. And I'm going to go live here on TikTok as well. And hopefully we'll make this thing go, and we'll have a little fun here this evening. I have no idea where my StreamYard feed went.
Well, I see you. That's what counts.
Oh, well, okay, there's that. Still here. And I don't know why that went down on me, but we're going to add it again right quick. Instagram,
A lot of people from Denver, Colorado. What's up, guys, from Denver?
Nice.
But it's cold out there.
Texas, Phoenix, Knoxville, Minnesota. Oh, I feel bad for you guys out in Minnesota right now.
Oh, Minnesota's horrible. I mean, the weather and the people, not the people, but you know what I'm saying.
But if they're in Minnesota, they do have a task that they are supposed to be doing right now.
It's true. That's true.
All right, I think I figured it out. What's going on, everybody? It's Wednesday, December the 10th, and this is America's Outpost. And we'd like to thank you all for joining us here this evening with my fellow hosts, the real Brett Lee and Brian Lane, and then our special guest tonight, Cler Patriot. If you don't know Cler, please make sure and follow her on all of the social medias. But if you're a conservative consumer of information on any one of the socials, I'm sure you've seen her before. So anyway, guys, what's the hot topic of discussion this evening?
Where should we begin?
Where should we begin?
You want to talk about Tim Walz and the Somali stuff going on?
I don't have an opinion on that. Psych, just kidding. I have a lot of opinions on that, but I'm gonna let you guys run with it real quick while I address a couple of different things, and then we'll get after it.
So I'll say this. If you follow along with the Tim Walz drama and all the fraud going on, I feel like the noose is tightening slowly but surely, and I feel like Tim Walz is about to scream. Because the evidence that I've seen so far is damning. Of course, they're going to keep some evidence behind the scenes just for legal purposes. But, I mean, you're talking multi-billion dollars in fraud. And right. I don't think Tim gets out of this one. I've said that a million times. We haven't seen anybody in handcuffs yet, God damn it. But go ahead, Brian.
No, I just think that if you think about it, I mean, I think they've got both the House and the Senate in Minnesota. So if he decides not to step down, which he probably won't, because everybody's encouragement on the Democrat because it's political persecution, and so nobody's going to impeach him, so he can just ride this like a surfboard. Man, no, I mean that's just my opinion.
So what happens though if they indict him and he's still governor?
I mean, I guess he could. I mean, it is a thing. So I mean, if they do indict him, they'd have to convict him, and then he'd have to probably step down. So he would still claim political persecution. They probably rewrite the laws, give an exemption, all of that.
Pardon himself or some bullshit.
The lieutenant governor comes in and pardons him
immediately, and then he's right back in the seat. Yeah,
mayor of Minneapolis while he's eating the Islamic food or Somalian food or whatever,
and trying to choke it down. God, that was hilarious.
So funny.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, y'all should have practiced that before y'all went live and did that, because that was so funny.
But why does he give sound bites? He's like, and I don't think it's cool that everybody's coming by my house and yelling retard. You know, it's like,
Well, we
why
know
would you
why.
do that
It's
to
because
yourself?
he's a crybaby. These guys they don't have thick skins at all. They want to dish it out, and they can't take it when people give it back to them. And then they cry, and they claim they're being persecuted. They're being singled out. This is nothing but a vendetta by Donald Trump and the conservatives. And it's the same old tired playbook, and people are getting sick of it.
Yeah.
And if you go look now, the estimate was $1 billion, and now it's $2 billion. And some estimates are saying it's as high as $8 billion in fraud. Now, you know, if that's been going on in Minnesota, what's been going on in Illinois, what's been happening in California, or any other blue state for that matter.
Michigan, Detroit.
Michigan. Yeah, I mean, you know, we go up to Michigan quite a bit in the summertime, and where we go, it is definitely conservative country, and the people up there are getting sick and tired of it. And Gretchen Whitmer does not have many fans up there.
Obviously, we're not getting too sick and tired of it because we're electing Democratic mayors in Miami.
We aren't doing that. And did she really get elected? Was it a fair and square election? Because I get sick and tired of every time, you know, that race down in Tennessee where they just squeaked it out on that congressional special election. Yep. Oh, that was a mandate. Look how close it was. No, it wasn't a mandate. You lost. You fucking lost. Right? So it's not a mandate. Let's go back and do a forensic audit on the vote, and let's just see how much monkey business was going on down there. So,
and I say this to people a lot. I say this to people a lot about the whole mandate thing. And these, you know, Miami's a perfect example. Everybody gets all hung up on like, oh, well, now the Democrat wins because, you know, that's what everybody wants. It's like most of the time, the only people that are voting on these type of elections are the people that are pissed off and disenfranchised and want to change. You know, the people that are comfy and they have their guy in the office are less likely to vote. So, I mean, it was just a voter turnout issue, I think, in Miami more than it was the people actually speaking. So,
well, they got 4 years to think about it. So,
yeah, exactly.
Good luck.
Oh,
good luck, man. And then, you know, you have the argument of the Miami citizens not as much of a fan of ICE, but I don't know how much credence there is to that. And that's what I'm saying. I don't know how much credence there is to that. Maybe they're just using that as an excuse, but at the same time, I don't know. It's all effed up.
There are a lot of people, though, I've noticed in Florida, because I'm in a lot of groups online. I like to go and read things that are complaining about ICE, but I'm like, what? Why do you not want a safe state? Like,
just the whole fact that we're even having to talk about getting illegal aliens out of our country is just baffling to me, that people are even trying to argue the point. You know, you rewind, not even 10 years ago, and that was like both sides talking point. Both sides were like, yeah, no, illegal immigration, like that's a problem. We need to secure our borders. But now it's just, it's ridiculous. Everybody's growing tired of it. I know that.
Well, dude, it's a soft, you know, the Bible, I'm not a big Bible guy, but it talks about, you know, don't hate which is evil or hate that which is evil. And it's not literally saying that's just a translation, but it's like, you can't be friends with the devil. And a lot of times we get emotionally manipulated to, you know, move the line a little bit. You know what? And it just keeps moving and moving and moving. And then next thing you know, we're just in the shit. And so, I mean, I feel like that's what's happening as far as like how this immigration problem happened in the first place. You know, we're having a little compassion, and then they reinterpret the Constitution, and then they reinterpret that reinterpretation, and then they continue to reinterpret. And then we just get way over here. And next thing you know, it's like, let's bring them all. Let's put them in this city and let them have their own little section and all of that stuff. And the only way, look, everybody's like, oh, we colonized. Well, yeah, we did. We conquered. We came, we saw, we conquered. That's part of it. Yep. And that's the way the world has gone. And so all I'm saying is they make them fight for it, you know, make them come conquer us instead of just giving it to them. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, you want this? Come get it. That's my thing. Come conquer us, and then you can colonize us.
Yeah.
But until then, get the hell out.
In the same vein, though, it's like they kind of are conquering us because they come here, they don't assimilate, they impose their culture on us, and we don't even put up a fight. You know, we're just like, oh, I'm afraid to tell you no because I don't want to be called racist or xenophobic or whatever the flavor of the month is. But
I don't think, I mean, obviously there is nuance to everything, and I think there are people who do come over here with wanting to assimilate and want to do all of those things, and there's a large majority of people who do want to come over here and be American, but there's these groups, that want to bring their bullshit here, and we don't need a Nigerian prince, having a neighborhood over here, you know what I'm saying? So like that's all I'm saying. I'm just making a point.
Yeah.
Is that, that kind of mentality, you bring that mentality over here, and that's why you're seeing the Somalian results in Minnesota. Yeah. And so that's that mentality. And so, it was even with linguistic or language, so to speak, there is no reason why. Second language, Spanish, great. Everybody needs to learn it in school. There's a lot of Hispanic people or Latino, whatever. You got to say to be politically correct these days, but I get that, but English is the primary language. Yeah. I just saw a video the other day, and I know it's just a little, they make a microcosm to macrocosm with these semi drivers.
Yeah.
Guy gets stuck on the road in the middle of the road, can't back out, can't speak English. Nobody can help him. So they have to bring people in to back that truck up and get it out, because they didn't even know how to drive the son of a bitch, and they got a CDL.
That's just terrifying.
Yeah. And that's just the one that we know of. How many of these bastards are out there that can't even read the signs, don't know where they're going, just driving?
And it's not even Hispanic people. One of
them was Asian.
Yeah.
Like what the? Like, dude, Hispanic people listen, I've got a heart for Hispanic people. I've got a heart for everybody.
Yeah.
But people that are not on bullshit.
Yes.
That, I got zero tolerance for that.
Well,
and so it's just one of those things, man.
Well, and if you look at the attack, it is everything that is white, male, and Christian. Everything is the foundation.
It is so true.
And if you want to back out white and male and just say Christian, that's the very foundation that our country was built on. And here you've got a religion of tolerance where we go, hey, do what you want to do. We're not going to mess with you. We're going to respect your rights so long as it doesn't endanger me or my family and you're not infringing on mine. But if you look at a lot of other religions, their intolerance is so bad. And if you happen to be a Christian in certain parts of the world, you're just a target marked for death.
Exactly.
But you come over here into our country. Oh, and by the way, we're over the target because TikTok has already smacked me down and said, can't recommend our live.
What did we even say?
I said
America.
Bullshit like 5 times.
Yeah.
So.
you said you love your country, and we're kind of upset with the way things are going, like most people are in America. But then they want to throw it in our face, the freedoms that they have given under the Constitution, and say, well, I have the right to do this. Well, up to a certain point.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not allowed to yell fire in a crowded theater. And forgive me, I don't have a bunch of examples that are, they're going to be analogous to that. But that's a lot of what's going on. And if you listen to a lot of the squad members and the vomit and the vile nastiness that comes out of their mouth, and you listen to Tim Walz speak, and you're like, how does this guy sleep at night? I mean, at what point in time did their brain morph their morals and ethics into something so nasty and un-American? And then they get on there and they beat their drum and claim once again that if you don't support unchecked immigration, if you don't support letting anybody who crosses the border get all the goodies and you get none, but yet you have to pay for their little Debbie cake, so to speak. And if you complain about it like we voice our not happiness, right? About it, then you're labeled an ist.
An ist. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's too bad. I mean,
it is.
And you came to something fucking good. You came to something really pleasant, and and then you want to make it more culturally like the place you came from.
You were leaving,
which makes no sense.
0 sense.
Like, what's up?
Well, I think Matt Walsh was saying in a couple of his videos, if you're fleeing from your country because the government has gone nuts, shouldn't you go to a country that is more culturally aligned with you religiously and culturally versus going to the United States where you know that telling your women they can't go out in public unless they're covered head to toe, where Sharia law won't fly. You see where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
no, they're encouraged to come here, just like they have been encouraged to invade into all the first world countries in Europe. And it's not by accident; it's on purpose. I think you and I, well, we've talked about this before. Go out and look up Cloward and Piven. If you truly think that capitalism is evil and we have to lower the bar so everybody is at the same place, the bottom, then you have to destroy any sort of government or society that will recognize people for their achievements, right, wrong, or indifferent. And to do that, then you have to flood the first world with the third world, knowing their incompatible cultures, and then not penalizing the third world culture, shielding and protecting it. And then anybody who goes up against it, Tommy Robinson, you throw him in prison.
Yep. Which that's bananas.
And then you are putting the fear into people that, well, I can't open my mouth. I mean, look at what they're doing in England. I was just listening to an interview today where a guy criticized a coworker and they fired him and threw him in jail. You are not allowed to make your coworker feel bad.
Yet they're letting a lot of those people get away with literal crimes, and then they're putting people in jail for complaining about it.
Yes. And then
So backwards.
it is. And then you've got all of the invented psychology, such as, well, we have to have white guilt. You must feel guilty for the color of your skin.
Well, dude, I'm only half guilty then. So I feel half guilty, you know. None of my people came over until like I think it was like 1940.
Right.
Something like that.
See, but look at you. You assimilated so nice.
You even
For the
got
most part.
I was a Muslim for the first part of my life.
You even got the kids' brockly top haircut going on.
Yeah, man.
You're a trendsetter.
Killing it.
That's right.
No, it's look, dude, you can be compassionate, you know, follow your heart, and as the old adage goes, take your brain with you, you know,
Right.
And you got to have it's just reason. Come over, yes, embrace, love your culture, love the richness of that culture, assimilate into the American culture, and celebrate everybody. And you know, and it's stripping away of white people's heritage and acting like they don't have culture and acting. I mean, we are the ones that, or half of me is the ones that organized society and got it structured. Not that other people didn't. Not that the Persians or the
but
Asians.
somebody had to be the person that was the most, you know.
And so there's so much architecture, beauty, philosophy, you know, and everything is under attack. I feel bad for white people. I really do, because it's nonstop, and even though they know that the majority of America doesn't agree with this stuff, they're still pushing it like everybody's like, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense. And it's like, dude.
Well, and then you got a lot of people on the left. What's the term? Suicidal empathy. You know, like they're empathetic to where it completely goes against everything that they would morally stand for, but they're being sympathetic. They're towing the line. They're being politically correct. They don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, you know, at the detriment of themselves. And it's like, man, you guys have got to realize, you got to think further than just not hurting somebody's feelings. You know, that's why we got to where we're at right now, is because everybody didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings, and everybody took advantage of that. People don't understand that if bad actors, whoever they may be, can take advantage of a situation, us being overly empathetic and overly politically correct, they're going to do that. And that's exactly what's happened in Dearborn, Michigan, in Minneapolis, and all these places. Like, they took advantage of it because they could.
You look at England, and like you were talking about what's going on over there. Yeah. England is 1/4 this. Maybe it's like a little bit bigger than that, about a part of the size of Texas.
Right. Yeah.
And it's tiny, right? And you know, there's no way that they're going to continue to put up with that. There's going to be a revolt. There's going to be, you know, people. You talk about. There'll be a real January 6th, not a fake manufactured one. There'll be a real January 6th in England.
Not a tour of the Capitol.
TikTok is loving this right now.
We're going from TikTok.
So, I mean, there would be because obviously ours was manufactured and produced by the FBI and brought to you by all the BS mainstream narratives. But over there, people are going to get, there's just no way that people can continue to do that, or they're all going to flee. We're going to have a bunch of English refugees.
Okay.
Which is,
I think I'd be a little more accommodating and happy about that than what's going on. And they're getting fed up in Ireland too. I mean, they're actually making videos basically saying,
people,
we're going to stand. Right. I'm Irish.
Did you see what they did? They went into a town, destroyed a nativity scene, and abused the donkeys from the new nativity scene. Yeah, in Ireland.
Can't
These
do
people, like that they don't want to assimilate. They shouldn't have come over.
Yeah, and I know the Irish. You get them drunk enough, they'll figure that out, and they'll put a stop to that shit.
I guess they put them on a terror warning, but so they said they needed to keep all their nativity scenes under watch.
Man, you know what? Let that happen here. Come get my nativity scene. You know, come and get it. I'll put a flag up. Nobody's.
We had a guy, somebody on TikTok, Jurway Bar 75. Anyway, he said, did they hump the donkeys?
I think they did. Yeah, I just didn't want to say it.
Or did they molest the donkeys?
They were.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, donkey. Where was Shrek?
the freaking donkey.
Yeah, donkey. Which that's kind of jacked up, but
the poor donkeys.
Donkeys, right? I mean,
they gummit.
Yeah.
Again, a culture that is not compatible with first world Christian culture. I mean, it is what it is. I don't know why anybody who says that is labeled in such a way as to make them be a bad person.
Exactly.
And, but
even if you're not a Christian.
Well,
even if you're not
go ahead.
Yeah,
no, I'm just saying, even if you're not, like it's written in your heart, you know, like.
Well,
there's a moral compass in there somewhere.
Yeah, there is.
And so it's in your DNA. Don't do it.
Yeah. Just, you know, that's not a human. But like, it's it's one of those things like you don't have to be a Christian to have common sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Or
like,
empathy or any of that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And I have a really good friend. I've known him for a long time. He stayed with us for a week when Charlie Kirk came down when I was living up in Nashville. And spent time with Charlie and everything. His name's Cam Higbee. Yeah. And really good dude. And we used to do work together on TikTok back in 2019 and 2020. And he's not a Christian, but dude's got a moral compass on him like you wouldn't believe. And I try, you know, in my little holy roller heyday, I was like, no, the Lord is hallelujah. And
that's exactly what you said.
But I'm just saying,
it's
like
in the Bible somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, I would literally, you know, try to use like science and logic because that's kind of person I am. I do believe I'm more of an agnostic, but Christian, I guess. But he just refused it. It just wasn't it just wasn't. I don't know where he's at now. I haven't talked to him about his faith in a long time. You know, have you heard about the Lord? But it's one of those.
Go knock on his front door.
But no, he's a really good dude, and he stands up for what's right. Proven again, you don't have to be a Christian in order to have common sense. And so, even these people who are coming over, and we keep saying these people, these individuals, who keep coming over. You know, I was a Muslim growing up. I was a Muslim into my 30s. And so I never thought to myself, you know, let's take over my neighborhood. Let's, you know, hate against the fabric of the freedoms that I'm enjoying. Yeah. And even at the local masjid, you know, they weren't about that. Now I understood though fundamentally in the
what the end game was.
What the end game was.
Right.
And but because there's always a reformer, and there's been no reformation in Islam, not one bit on a large holistic scale, because to do so would, you know, create a whole nother set of craziness. Because you see the countries that are trying to kind of move into the future, you've got all those groups coming over and, like, you know, invading their churches, invading their mosques. They're not Muslim enough. And that's what ultimately will happen in this country as they gain a majority. There's going to be a reformer to the old school ways. Oh, you're not Muslim enough. Yep. And that's where it goes south. Anyways, I don't know what I was talking about.
So they'll just eat their own?
They do.
They eat their own and consume us with them.
What do you think ISIS was doing.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Let's consider all of this in a more grand scale. I don't know about you guys, but I've had more divisive stuff come up in my Instagram reels than I've ever seen.
Design.
It's by design. Not only that, if you look at what's happening, not just here in America, but around the globe, how are the people in the first world countries being attacked? Their culture's being attacked.
Mm-hmm.
Their finances are being attacked. Their morals are being questioned. On and on and on. My live is flagged for misinformation, repeated violation. Yeah, so here we go. We're over the target.
Misinformation. What do we
Somebody's reporting you. That's the
that's
I'm
gotta
getting
be.
reported. So yeah, now live contains themes some may find uncomfortable and has been restricted misinformation. So we're over the target.
January 6th.
My bad.
Let's just get
My
banned.
bad.
Fuck it.
Here, let me frame it a different way without using the words that get us flagged. It's a multifaceted operation where we are being hit with the death by 1,000 paper cuts.
Mm-hmm.
So your family, your finances, religion, so on and so forth is being hit at some point in time. You snap.
Right.
Yeah.
And you look at the mass migration out of certain states during the Corona times. Florida explodes in population, Texas, Tennessee. Yep. And because people were like, I got to get out of here before they don't let me out and I'm locked in. So, most Americans, regardless of their political affiliation, nobody wants to be shackled for the most part. I would say those of us on the right really don't want to be told what to do because we have a good moral compass and we're going to do the right thing no matter what rules, regulations, or laws are being passed. But just sit back and look at it that way. So let's go back to the psychological warfare campaign component of this. Look at all the infighting or the perceived infighting about the entire Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens. I don't even get into it because I don't give a shit. Right. I know it is absolutely part of a larger psychological warfare campaign to keep us distracted and divided.
Yes.
Period.
That's where I'm at on it. Yep.
Yeah.
Is there information out there that's probably going to shock people one way or the other? I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
Don't know what it is. And I'm not just going to go down that rabbit hole and claim that if we don't bridge that divide that's been created, we're going to lose the midterms. I think a lot of that has been manufactured division.
Yes.
And some of the folks that are engaged in it, I think, are plants, are false conservatives. They're being paid, compensated to stir the pot.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and then you look
but we don't know who they are.
Exactly. And you look at,
I have some
opportunistic people looking for reasons. We had this, call it a little bitty fracture in the right with this whole thing happening. But then these opportunists are going to see that and go, all right, if we exploit that, get these people fighting each other, it's going to widen that gap, keep widening that gap. And that's what they're betting on. They're betting on us just fighting each other so they can do whatever the hell they want in the background. And it's worked for the most part. Now,
it's an order out of chaos.
Exactly. And I think what people need to understand is you've got two factions now. And I hate to say that it's similar to what's happening or has happened on the left, that you have people that are going, you're either on this side or this side. There's no in between.
Yeah.
And you have these people fighting each other. And it's like, well, if you don't agree with me, then you're the enemy. Well, it's like, look, there's so much nuance to that whole situation. And we can get into that if we want to, but there's so much nuance where it's like, I may not want to pick a side. I may want to listen to both sides and understand kind of what's happening as a whole, as opposed to being like, if you're not on so-and-so side, you're not, right, conservative and you're what's wrong with this country. It's like, dude, we're kind of becoming the left. If you take a 10,000 foot view, like we got to cut this shit out, and understand that like there's some nuance to everything and everybody needs to chill out, let all the facts come out. Understand that people are going to boost the algorithm for people fighting with each other and people calling each other out on Fox News and people calling each other out on their damn show. Like it's all by design on the social media side. They're going to keep boosting all this shit because it gets engagement. And that's all they care about. They don't care about what the message is, if it's true or not. They just want a message to be, spread like fire, the viral thing. That's all they care about. So we got to keep that in mind when we're seeing all this shit happening on the left or the right we'll call it the left and the right of the right. But you know, that's what's happening. It's like these opportunists have seen this little bitty fraction, and are like, we're going to exploit the hell out of that, get the party divided, and then we can conquer them. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Well, and you got to think, remember, Rahm Emanuel, that was Obama's chief of staff, never let a good crisis go to waste. So any opportunity to engage in Machiavellian tactics, such as if your enemy is annoyed, I'm paraphrasing here, annoy him more.
Yeah.
So, you know, irritate him more. And they know, and politicians across the board and governments across the board know how to mentally whipsaw the people one way or the other to get them to go the way they need the herd to travel.
Yeah.
And like I said, this whole Charlie Kirk thing and Candace Owens, I just have to stand back and I just watch who's yelling over here and who's yelling over there.
Well, it's like I see valid points from both sides of the argument. It doesn't have to be she's all right, she's all wrong. It doesn't have to be that way. It can be there's stuff happening on both sides that are accurate. Or, you know, to Candace's credit, like, yes, let's look into some of this shit. You know, to Erica Kirk's point, like, leave us alone. We're grieving. You know, that, you know, it's like there's truth to both sides of it. So it doesn't have to be a one side or the other thing. You know, that's what the left does. So let's not do that. How about that?
Amen.
Claire, what do you think? Sound off.
I do think it's very divisive. What's unfortunate is a lot of us that are not for Candace have been like, we're willing to listen to you guys. And they're like, we're going to unalive you, get off the internet.
Exactly.
Like, what is happening?
Yeah. And it's like, I've seen you and props to you for taking a stand and saying what you believe in. But it's like, I've seen people come after you and I'm like, this is not the right, like, what are we doing? Like, whether they're actual real people or bots, you know, of course you could make that argument, but it's like, guys, we were the party of you could say what you want and not be attacked.
Right.
You know,
Apparently
whether
only Candace they can.
golly, man, like it brought some idiots out of the woodworks, man, on both sides.
I mean, it did both sides. And I don't get it. Like, if somebody wants to ask questions, I think that's important. I
Absolutely.
think, and I've stated that, I think asking questions is important, but like the way you're doing it, maybe.
Right. Yeah. Let's be a little bit more tactful about how we're doing it. Yeah. I can agree with that. And I'm glad people are calling that out. Like, you know, some of the shit that Candace is doing is like, all right, dude, that's you're stepping over some lines here that you shouldn't step over. You know, your intentions may be good and they may have been sound in the beginning, but now you're starting to get into the, all right, now I know this is clickbait. I know this will get me views and blah, 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 blah. So then you start getting into that kind of stuff. So it's like,
And the money probably.
The money,
right
the root of all effing evil, man. I'm telling you. You know, I've heard figures of what she's making per show, and it's like, God dang, man.
What have you been told estimates?
It's six figures.
Yeah, that's what I
per
thought.
show is what I've seen. Per show. So
She
I
will
mean,
never ever show it, I bet.
absolutely not. Absolutely not.
But if you look at the trend for her show, what's very interesting is she was in a downward trend before September, before it happened. So September 11th, 12th, she starts to shoot straight up.
Yep.
So had she not started doing this, she would be still in a downward slope, because as it is, politics is, and well, she wasn't really doing politics anymore. She's just kind of off on a tangent.
She was politics slash
adjacent.
Yeah, politics adjacent. Let's call it that.
Yeah, so that's always going to be slow in a year where we don't have big elections. Next year is our year. We're going to grow again.
Right.
But for her, she probably wouldn't have been doing very well, and then
Exactly.
So this kind of saved the year.
Exactly, and that's that nuance that we're talking about. Like, you may not agree with her, but yeah, maybe that was part of her motivation. We don't know.
Yeah.
You know, it's not as black and white as everybody's trying to make it seem. And that's why I stay out of it. I'm like, you know what?
Girls are crazy.
Man, y'all get you girls fired up, man. But it's good. I like the stances that you've taken, and I think you're doing it tactfully. You're not picking sides. You are, but you aren't, right? You know, it's not
I
as
try to ask questions.
Exactly. You're keying into the nuance, which is what I think is important. The nuance is where the importance should be lying. And I think you're doing well with that. So keep doing what you're doing. And you crazy right-wing assholes out there, don't threaten my friend, okay?
Yeah, it's not fun.
It's not good. It's not good for anybody.
Well, I mean, so where does it take us from here? I mean, we got the holidays coming up. Everybody's been pressured from all sides more than we ever have before. We've got the midterms next year. We've got the attacks coming on the left. Pete Hegseth's a war criminal. Donald Trump is illegal. He's a legit. I mean, all the same old tactics that they've always failed miserably on, but they just keep shoveling it, and it definitely slows things down. Well, he dropped right off.
Timed out.
Definitely timed out. Yep. So, but it definitely slows things down quite a bit. And then we start hearing things like, well, the special election in Tennessee, it was so close. Tennessee is on the verge of turning blue again. It's not. You know, there are certain pockets of Tennessee that are going to run more blue than red. University of Tennessee, for example, even though that's a great town, a great football town, it's a college town, and college towns are typically going to lean blue. Just because of the nature of the universities and the academics.
Because they haven't grown up yet. And
well, I mean,
they haven't hit the real life world yet.
The more education you have, the more money you make, the more inclined you are to lean to the left. Yeah. For whatever reason, they become, in their own minds, morally and intellectually superior, and they know better for you what you need than you do. And if you're compensated quite well, and I know quite a few academics that get paid quite well from these universities and the research and the books that they write, $10 gallon of gas, they might complain about it, but it's not going to impact their way of life.
Right.
Yeah.
$5 gallon of milk, so what? They're still going to eat what they want to eat when they want to do it. They might gripe the price went up, but materially, their life really hasn't changed that much.
Right. Yeah.
But for your average everyday working Joe, when gas is $3.50 a gallon and milk is $3 a gallon. I was looking at the meat case tonight. If you wanted to we typically do steak on Christmas, and we like to buy a whole beef tenderloin prime. Used to run 19, 20, 21 bucks a pound, and I used to complain about it then. It is $39.99 a pound.
Man.
That's insane.
That is absolutely insane. And that, you usually buy that when it's going to be something, a special occasion. Nobody's, for the most part, eating filet every night, but that's what we enjoyed to do for Christmas. We're still going to do it. I don't like it, the fact the price is that high, but it is what it is. Right. So ground beef through the roof.
Yeah.
Still, and you're going to see, I've got a buddy who owns 6 McDonald's, and McDonald's knows food trends and food pricing better than probably anybody in the world. And he said, you're not going to see beef prices come down anytime soon. This was July of this year. He goes, you're going to see another 18 to 20%. It's actually been higher increase in the price of beef. He goes, so until we get the herds up again, it's going to take a while. You can't grow a cow as fast as you can grow a chicken.
Yeah.
Right? So you go to McDonald's right now, which is garbage food. I don't like to go there, but from time to time, you might have to go get an egg McMuffin.
Their fries are so good, though.
Yeah, right.
Their fries are good.
An egg
and
McMuffin an egg McMuffin meal is $9.78 at my local McDonald's. It used to be $3.50.
It used to be so cheap. It's ridiculous.
Too damn high.
I can go to Waffle House and get this.
Man, I would love some Waffle House right now.
All said and done.
Get a plate of waffles in a fight. Yeah. Love me some Waffle House.
There's no such thing as a dollar menu. You used to be able to get a double cheese and McChicken for $2.01 and a glass of water.
Yeah.
$7 bucks.
Yeah.
Not today.
Not no more. So as we continue to be squeezed on all sides, what happens in 2026? Do you get enough folks that threw their support behind President Trump in this election going, well, he didn't deliver? Well, wait a minute. You got to give this some time. You can't unwind all the damage that's been done in a 1-year time frame.
Yep.
Right. It's going to take 4 years just to start the machine being able to operate in an efficient way. Yep. Well, and by the way, you're not going to see 2019 prices ever again.
No.
We're going to see gas prices come down. We're going to see some of these commodity prices levelize a little bit. But once inflation gained its foothold, it's game over. You're not coming back. You can only hope for a healthy economy and wage inflation so we can get our wages up. So then the cost is more in line with what it used to be. But again, it takes a while for $20 an hour to become $25 an hour.
Right.
Because the business has to be busy. There has to be competition for the labor, and they're going to have to pay more to attract the employees. It's simple supply and demand. But most people don't understand the mechanics of the economy and what it takes to get it done. Yeah. They just know, I want to get up, go to work, and I want to pay my bills and file my taxes and take care of my family and just leave me alone. I want to do the right thing. But people are not allowed to do that anymore because there are so many potholes being dug in front of them as they drive down the road. And when they get a flat tire, they can't afford to fix it.
Well, I would just submit, and sorry for being gone for a second, but
oh, you're back.
I'm back. Trying to stay focused here. Focused. All the sound effects is good. I felt this surge of sound effects coming through. But as the everyday American, who's living through things and just watching how things unfold, one could surmise that any system, I mean, obviously capitalism, free markets, things like that is the best system. But any system gets to a point of no return, and then there's a reset.
Right.
It's just who's going to be doing the reset. Do we want the 2030 agenda reset, or do we want a better version, a more pro-capitalist reset? So I wonder what's coming down the pike, because it's going to be there's just no bringing it back down. There's no bringing the wages up. There's no balance. It's just always going to be the middle class getting ate up, if there is one left. The haves and the have-nots. That's where we get to a certain point, and then what comes next. And so they're trying to figure out something, and maybe AI Atlas is part of that. I don't know. Alien invasion, stable coin,
please, aliens.
One of those things that are going to happen.
I've even got a buddy who keeps sending me these videos. There's going to be a debt jubilee. In order to reset the system, they're just going to forgive everybody's debt and start over. I'm like, what?
Why not?
Where do people find this stuff?
I'm like, great. Well, it's
deep,
it's
dark corners of the internet, Reddit.
It's biblical, and it was in the Bible, and I'm like, hey, that sounds great to me. I mean, I'm all for it. Let's just start over. But for those,
there's got to be a war for that. So
no, you're 100%
people
correct.
have to die.
Yes,
you're 100% correct. So because you can't reset the system and wreck the debts without literally destroying the asset that backs the debt. Sorry, I can't pay it. The city's not there anymore.
Yeah.
Right. So yes, there has to be a lot of death and destruction coming along with that, which is unfortunate.
That sucks.
It's horrible. So again, going back to the whole debate, dividing conservatives, that's why I just have to stand back and go, I'm not taking sides on this, because this is nothing more than a waste of my intellect and my emotion. Yeah. And I don't want to get angry, because angry wears you out. I don't want to get sad, because sad makes you motivated. It does. It wears you out.
Yeah. Y'all were talking about something before I left. Y'all were talking about all the comments and things like your Instagram feed and the things that are happening. But Facebook, obviously, it's all Meta. So, but they are literally, I'm running a client's page, and I post one thing conservative, like a conservative take on something, and there is like 100. You go look yourself. 100 like, oh, you're trash, you're crazy. People up in his messages is like, dude, die. You need to die. And I'm like, are you serious? It was just Scott Bassett. Isn't he gay? I mean, like, isn't he like checking a box somewhere?
They are insane.
They're
literally
ruthless.
certifiable.
So yeah, they're doing it on purpose. That was my point for the whole thing. They're doing it on purpose, dude. They just don't give a shit about us. Bottom line, hands down, and they just want to see us chew each other up.
Yeah.
Well, and then I want to touch back to the point where we're talking about, people being, no, you're good. People on the right kind of being frustrated with everything that's happening right now. And we're not putting people in handcuffs. Inflation is not coming down, all this frustrating stuff that people want to get turned around quick. And I always tell people, I use this analogy a lot. I used to be in the fitness world back in the day. And I would always tell people like that I was trying to get back in shape. I'm like, you didn't get overweight and unhealthy overnight.
Yeah.
It's not going to turn around overnight. You can't undo all of that damage that you've done overnight. So all of these people getting frustrated and saying like, Trump didn't do what he promised. He he lied to us and he's doing this, that, and that. Like, yeah, there's some credence to that. Like, as far you could argue that in some of the indictments and people not being arrested and that kind of thing. But to turn this economy around and to turn the foreign policy around and all of this stuff that had been, it took decades to build to where it's at right now and in the frustrating level that it's at right now. It's not just going to flip overnight. And especially, you know, the economy is not, Aaron says this all the time, it's not a knob on a stereo. Nope. You can't just turn it back. You can't turn the Titanic around overnight. So, yes, I understand the frustration, and I understand people are like, all right, we should see something by now, which if you look at it, we're a lot further ahead than we would have been if Kamala was in office right now. Can you imagine?
Like,
yeah, I mean, stuff's happening. It may not be the instant gratification that everybody wants, but stuff is happening, and it's just going to be slow.
A week after Trump was in, they were like complaining about egg prices.
Yeah, I'm like, get out of here, man. Like, yeah. It's only still like putting his furniture in the Oval Office. Like, give him a chance, guys.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
calm down.
Like you said, like we've all said, it's all by design, and it was designed to be engineered, and so they're just going to keep. At first, you're like, oh God, nobody's going to buy that, but then after that repetitive, you know, you've got this, like what Aaron calls is the uninformed and voter, uninformed,
the low information voter,
low information EQ
put that on a
voter,
damn t-shirt.
Low EQ voter, the emotional intelligence aspect of it, and so you just keep running that at them. You're going to wear them down, and all of a sudden they're just complaining and crying about everything. Look, dude, you may have a valid point on the things that Trump says,
right?
But as far as what he does, I mean, it's not going to be perfect. I beg one of these little whiners out there, even in mainstream media or legacy influencers who are, you know, jumping back and forth on their position and stuff, to be a president for a day. They have no clue what it takes. Most presidents who are presidents don't do a third of what Trump has done in the first year. And so expect this, and this is just because I know Real America's Voice and I work for them. I sit in the meetings, and it's just going to get loud, and it's going to get crazy. So, you know, buckle up, Buttercup.
So let me throw this one at you. So I think the Trump administration and his team are smart enough to know, look, we're going to have to run on the economy because that's what's going to work, and that's what he's good at. But we know damn good and well once we get into office that we're not going to be able to turn the ship around, right? You can't turn an aircraft carrier around like you can a speedboat. So we're going to have to ramp up all of these investigations, but hold off on arrests until we get closer to the midterms. Because I can tell you people shackled and being hauled into court are going to make people go, damn, now things are getting done.
Right before midterms.
And they're going to be okay with the economy not going at the pace that they want it to go at. So maybe it is strategic in the way this is being handled. That's what I think. Hey, but who am I? Right?
We're gonna make so much content if that's the case.
There's gonna be so much content.
Glorious.
We'll be so good.
Content right now is at an all-time crushing low, and it usually is around this time. 2 years before.
But can you imagine if, like, right before the midterms, they put Nancy Pelosi or somebody in handcuffs with their little bony wrists in handcuffs? Like, oh my God, we'd be a shoo-in for the midterms. It'd be amazing.
So again, Trump being a master politician and entertainer, he's got to save that WWE, you know, what is it, John Cena's last match coming up, and what do they call these big super slams, or
the WrestleMania events, super slams or whatever.
WrestleMania.
You know, so we're saving a WrestleMania for closer to the midterms, and if you start hauling in these guilty politicians closer to the midterms, you're going to wreck a lot of campaigns on the left, because they're going to say, look, you want to elect the party that's been robbing you blind. You know, here, we've got the receipts, and we're finally taking in, you know, Nancy Pelosi, Elon Omar, Chuck Schumer, Tim Walz,
the Hamburglar.
Yeah, the Hamburglar.
The
Hamburglar. I can't stand that guy. Because somebody told me I need to make a series just on Illinois politics alone, which I've considered.
You would kill
because
it.
Is he really letting them go?
Yes, without a doubt. We have a new tax on paint in Illinois.
Paint?
Yeah, paint.
Paint?
Paint. Anything over a quart comes with a new tax. So I could literally just sit and do Illinois politics content if I
You should.
employed, and I'm going to start a series on it. I think.
Just call it the Hamburglar series.
Right before we left, after we left, there was more taxes added. So they have added more taxes.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Yeah,
They just find like obscure freaking whatever and to put a tax. Paint.
You can make a claim that it's because of the environment and we need the money to deal with
Whatever.
it. I mean, they're going to come up with whatever bull
But
nonsense
the
excuse they have
taxes
to.
are so high already.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Cler didn't live too far from where I'm at. We were 20 minutes apart, maybe.
Yeah.
Tops. So, two smaller towns on the outskirts, but our taxes are through the roof because they're, we're essentially bedroom communities to Champaign-Urbana.
Well, and then you got all of this funding, this illegal funding being outed. So now all of their money stream is being cut off. So now they're scrambling, going, well, how am I going to pay all this shit that I've got my yacht, I've got my helicopter, I've got all this stuff I got to pay for. How am I going to pay for it? Because my illegal money laundering scheme has been outed.
Well, not only that, so, everyone says, well, George Soros, the billionaire for the Open Society, he wasn't giving his own money. He was giving our money.
Yeah.
Because USAID funneled money into the Open Society Foundation and God knows whatever other else, how many other organizations that he had attached to USAID. Sorry, I get a little tongue-tied there. So he wasn't using his money. He was using our money.
Yeah.
These
Which makes it even worse.
Which makes it even worse. And you look at what's going on. Well, go back to Somali or the Somalis in Minnesota. The first estimate was $1 billion, and now I've heard up to $8 billion, and now they found $2 billion. So again, like we said in the beginning, what's going on if you start digging into Illinois, California, New York, Michigan?
Yes.
So at some point in time, in order to get the feds to dig in, because Illinois is not going to audit itself. Minnesota's not, Michigan's not. Either one, that people have to revolt at the ballot box in such a way that they basically take out the trash, but that doesn't guarantee that the new crew that comes in isn't already compromised, because they always say ultimate power ultimately corrupts. I don't agree with that. Ultimate power corrupts the corruptible. So even if you've got somebody that comes out with good intentions and runs on, I'm going to clean up the swamp in Illinois, he gets in there and somebody says, yeah, I got this picture of you doing something you shouldn't have done.
Yes.
But don't worry. Here's what we're going to do. I'm just going to make you really, really rich. You just need to do what I tell you. Yep. So if you can't get somebody in there who's not able to be compromised, then there may not be any hope of taking out the trash, because now you're just bringing in new trash.
Well, and then
they might. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say Minnesota is a perfect example, though. So if that much fraud was going on behind the scenes in something that we now see as so obvious on the financial side, do we really think that our elections have any kind of integrity, especially in places like that? I mean, that begs the question.
Well, the only thing I can say about Illinois is you've got so many people in Chicago fed up that are traditional Democrat voters that they are showing up to city council meetings going off on Brandon Johnson.
Which is great.
People of his own community, and it's absolutely fantastic. But, those guys are putting up big financial walls to insulate themselves, and digging in for the long fight. But if you overwhelm the ballot box, like I said, it has to be a violent revolution at the ballot box, meaning you got to have so many people show up to vote that it's absolutely impossible to compromise the election.
Can't pull a Miami and just be comfortable and not vote.
Correct. And I always tell people this as well. If we have to get the last of the silent majority off their rear end into the ballot box, they showed up for the last election, and I still say there's a millions upon millions that sat it out because I don't want to get involved in politics. It's it's unsavory. It's just
then don't complain about gas prices.
Correct. And when we don't talk about money in politics, I get it. Those are things that you want to keep private. They're your own opinions, but you still have to participate. You still have to show up to the ballot box. You don't got to say who you voted for. It is your civic duty, but you're correct. You can't complain after the fact when you have lost more of your rights, whether they be freedom of speech, freedom of religion, whatever, freedom to choose in any way, shape, or form. You did it to yourself. I mean, all we have to do is look at the man in the mirror and point two thumbs and go, well, I'm guilty.
When the women are wearing burqas in Dearborn, Michigan, you got nobody to blame but yourself. Sorry.
Well, we can always call Team America.
Fuck yeah.
We didn't plan that. That was pretty good. So, yeah, it's just a strange time that we're in for sure. It's going to be very interesting next year. There's going to be no shortage of things for us to talk about and make content about. And, you know, is Brigitte Macron a man or not? I don't know. I'm more interested in finding that out than anything else.
I think that they should just do a DNA test. I know that they shouldn't
It'd be
have to
so
do that,
easy.
but that would discredit so many other things that she said if they just would do that.
Yeah. I mean, it would
Well,
take
if
like
they
an
had-
overnight test, put it out,
Yeah.
make it public, and just be like, look, shut
Live
up.
stream that crap.
Hey,
Yes.
you know what? If you want to be a real gangster, just whip that thing out in front of the camera and be like, what do you think? You tell me.
It's not. Hey, you got to start an
It's French.
OnlyFans account,
Whatever,
and then everybody
dude.
else
I'm
subscribe.
just saying,
to
that is an easily if somebody told me that I was a woman, you know, they're like, he's a wham. I'm like, guess what? No, I'm not.
No.
Case
You-
closed.
Listen.
Case
as
closed.
your-
We're done
as your
here.
ma- As your manager. As your manager.
You know what?
And lawyer.
If it got as deep as Candace was going with that shit, at some point I'd be like, look, everybody can look at it. It's not big. I'm sorry.
As your manager, we're going to set up an OF account. And
Yeah,
you're gonna get
whatever.
people to subscribe for the reveal.
Yeah, they've got
the
to
reveal.
subscribe.
Yeah,
And
Yes.
then we make that money, and then
pay-per-view
we
would be-
cancel
yeah,
it.
big dollars.
And
Big
everybody
dog.
would be super disappointed, be like, that was not what I was expecting.
But you got the bag, though. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
whatever. And I'll ride off into the sunset.
You know, like so. Anyways, I'm kidding, but you know,
Thanks, managers. Thanks for keeping me in line.
but you know, as far as the whatever her name is, Macron,
Brigitte.
Brigitte, I don't care. Honestly,
don't
at the
either.
end of the day, I don't give a
Doesn't matter.
shit. Listen, I don't care if you're trans. I don't care if you're presenting as this, or you've always pretended like you were that, or you're just actually who you say you are. I don't care as long as you're a good person
Yeah.
and you're not
Yeah.
messing with my kids
Or
And you're
anybody
not, you know,
else's.
Yeah,
What I always say,
and don't hurt.
I'm going to put it on a t-shirt. Don't
No,
fuck
don't.
with my money. Leave me alone. Don't
and
fuck
don't
with
fuck
the kids.
Yes.
That's it.
I think it should just be simple. Don't fuck the kids.
Yeah, I mean, that
Yeah.
really encompasses the whole thing. Because
The
if you're
whole-
not fucking kids, you're probably pretty morally sound.
You know, so like, and I know it's terrible, and you know, but here's the thing:
Goodbye, TikTok. Sorry.
nobody gives a shit. Like
Good
all of
evening,
this stuff,
TikTok.
Sorry.
all of this stuff, like you know, and I'm not even trying to be insensitive to like the Charlie Kirk thing, just to bring it down just a notch here. But you know, I'm going to, even though I don't want to trust, sometimes you're going to have to extend trust to the people, to the characters that are at the head of the investigation.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I know Kash Patel personally. I've interacted with him on multiple times, and he has never given me a reason to think that he's deep state or
Right.
think that he is some kind of mischievous, nefarious thing going on. He's human like the rest of us, and we're
Yeah.
all full of shit to a certain extent. But his is average, you know. And I'm not talking
Seems
about
like
the
he's
Bridget McCrone
trustworthy.
thing, but he is not, So like, I don't waste my bandwidth on things that I don't know. Like,
Right.
especially with anything to do with politics. Like, I'm not in the room with President Trump. I don't know what he has to go through. I mean, he brings the cameras in a lot, but like,
We see
I don't
probably
know.
2% of what that man actually deals with.
yeah, dude, like you don't fucking know, bro. But I guess it makes money and makes clicks and things like that to sit around and just talk about this stuff. And, for somebody to exploit a situation as sensitive as what we were talking about, it's sad. If this
is
person is off the rocker, if they are, and, I'm not going to, but to me, it makes no sense. There's no way that why would you lie?
Right.
Why would you lie, bro?
Yeah.
Like,
For,
and if
on
I'm-
that,
if-
yeah.
if I'm a little dude in cuffs, I'd be like, I didn't do it. I wouldn't care what my
Yes.
lawyer told me. They're lying. They set me up,
Yeah, exactly.
whatever. Because MAGA would be like, oh,
What?
we knew it,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then freaking run over there and start working on things. But it's not happening. He's not making a peep because he knows what he did. He knows what he did. So at the
Yeah.
end of the day, people need to chill.
Chill out.
Well, all right. Let's wind it down. We're at 1 minute.
Wrap it up, Daddy.
Are we still on TikTok?
We're still on TikTok.
Oh my God, we are?
Gosh,
Now,
dude, you've been demonetized.
Lucky for me, a couple of buddies, good friends of mine, they've been pounding on the hearts. I've got 9,000.
Oh,
Let's go.
Yeah.
If I had a TikTok, I would. Can you like your own shit? I don't think they like that.
No,
I
you
don't
really
know.
shouldn't.
Okay.
They'll
want
probably
others.
frown upon that. I'm
They
sure.
frown upon it.
I got 9,800 hearts, so we're gonna
Let's
give it
go.
another minute.
I don't know what
Scared
that
to
means,
touch
but it
TikTok.
sounds good.
The more somebody hearts the live, the more it should get pushed out.
Okay,
into
I
the
got you.
feed. But I've only got 5 viewers at the moment because TikTok said no, we're not going to let anybody see your shit tonight. Because,
They just love us, don't they?
Man, we're the poster child for their lives. I'm sure.
well, and I haven't been making a ton of content lately for TikTok, and I did 2 videos today, and 5,000, 1,500, and 800. So they're really not pushing that content right now. I think a lot of 10K. Thanks everybody. Yay. If I could hit the thank you button, I would. So anyway, let's wrap it up. We're going to do one more show this year, which will be next Wednesday. And then we're going to take a couple of weeks off for the holidays so everybody can spend time with their families and we can regroup so we can improve this show for 2026 and hope everybody will continue to follow us. If you haven't had a chance to follow Cler, why don't you go ahead and call your socials out so I don't screw it up?
I am Cler Patriot on Instagram, X, and Facebook and TikTok. Just Cler Patriot. There is a
Easy.
million Cler Patriots on TikTok, though. So if you're having a hard time, you can go to my link tree on Instagram. It's easier to find me on TikTok from there.
Definitely follow her. She's a great follow. Got great content.
Oh, thanks. So do you.
I'm okay. I'm learning.
Yeah. And then don't forget to follow Brian Lane at Brian Lane, spelled Brien.
E-E-N.
O'Brien without the O.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the world famous, the real Brett Lee, at his
Half world famous.
new page. He got rid of the Doge moniker, and he is now Project Liberty US.
Project Liberty US.
Is that you?
That
Yep.
is me. So
Yeah,
Doge,
definitely.
Doge. I'll give everybody the quick synopsis. So
Yeah.
Doge is by the wayside. We went ahead and rebranded to Project Liberty US. Since the Doge thing is kind of dead, everybody fell off of that as soon as Elon bowed out, so to speak. So yes, I'm Project Liberty US on Instagram, on X, I've got a Substack. I think that's it. And then I'm Real Brett Lee on Instagram. So give me a follow.
And I dropped the Doge moniker as well, even though I still got my Doge hat. I'm going to get my daily update guy hats on, but it's still going to be the same content. But I was in agreement with Brett. Doge has kind of ran its course, lost its sizzle, but it doesn't mean we're not going to report on anything that Doge continues to find in terms of saving us, the taxpayers, money. And we'll keep bringing you hard-hitting, right-wing slanted opinions about the shit that's going on in Washington and throughout the country. So anyway, everybody have a good night and a great week, and we will see you all in 7 days.
Adios.
See ya. All right, don't forget to turn off your Instagram feed. And I gotta make sure we.
All right.
Hold on, don't nobody say anything until I end the other lives.
Man, I had a bunch in the holster.
Well, I'm having a hard time navigating through this screen here since I switched to the teleprompter.
You're doing it through the telly.